So India has huge migration. It has almost over 100 million people who move from rural areas to urban areas in search of jobs. It has millions of people who cross national borders to work overseas in the Middle East, in the US, everywhere in the world. The migration, internal migration in India is driven by distress. Okay, it is driven by the need for people to find employment in order for the survival of the families. And international migration is probably less about distress and more about opportunity. It is about finding better things to do. So there's a real difference in the way internal and international migration plays out in the country. And internal migration by far is much larger, much more complex than international migration is in the country. Well, it's partly because there's more money there. International migrants, the Indian diaspora is seen to be very wealthy, very successful, and therefore sending a lot of money, a lot of precious dollars into the country. It is also a more celebrated segment. People. There are writers there are filmmakers there are media people, industrialists. So they get a lot of media attention. The internal migrants are less visible. They are workers, they are construction workers, they are porters, they are head loaders. There are people who work in factories, who work in homes and hotels and hospitals, and therefore have less media attention. It's also a poorer segment, and therefore their problems are not well understood or well projected in policy or in public. It is important to make internal migrants and the problems of internal migrants visible, because they are the very trigger of our economy. It is on the strength of their labor, often cheap labor, that our economy is doing so well, that it is posting 8 to 9% growth rate today. However, our competitive advantage, India's competitive advantage, is derived from the fact that our wages are low, which is not a good thing. Wages should be better. They should be fair. They should reflect fair return to labor, to human endeavor, and they should make sure that workers have social benefit, they have protection, they have rights that are protected, all of which add up finally to the economy. It is important to highlight the problems of workers, because industry, business, and the economic discussion does not talk about labor anymore in our country. It's more about global capital and more about global integration than about labor. Their problems are not just about poor wages, actually. It is also about identity, about skills. It is their problem vis-a-vis the labor market, wherein they have very few chances for advancement. It is about protection of their legal rights. And unless those are protected, I believe the economy will not do well. We cannot neglect a very large part of our workforce and hope for economic advancement. That is not sustainable.